Sacramento's real estate market just shifted in 2025. Here's why. Sacramento just got 46% more homes for sale than last year. For the first time since 2020, buyers aren't fighting 10 other people just to lose. The Sacramento housing market just shifted, and you need to know what that means as a buyer or seller. If you don't know who I am, my name is Connie Van. I've lived here for 37 years, and we've helped buy and sell hundreds of homes in the Sacramento suburbs, from the Pocket through Elk Grove and beyond. So I wanted to share how the housing market may have finally flipped for the first time in years. Okay, so for the first time in what feels like forever, buyers in Sacramento have some real power. But don't get too excited, because this isn't what you might think. Let's look at these amazing numbers from our local real estate board. In June, we had 46% more homes for sale than last year, and July brought another 42% increase. Guys, this is huge. It is the biggest jump we've seen since before COVID changed everything. And now we have 2.37 months of homes available, which is way better than the basically nothing that we had before. But that's still not the 5 to 6 months that makes this a truly balanced market. So what does this mean for you? Well, homes are taking 26 to 32 days to sell now, compared to just 17 days last year. That extra 2 weeks is everything you need to get inspections done, talk to your lender, maybe even sleep on it for a night before making one of the biggest decisions of your life. And get this, 1 out of 3 listings now has a price reduction. Remember last year when buyers were throwing 50 grand over asking and still losing? Now sellers are dropping prices to get deals done. Plus, homes are selling 98 to 99% of asking price, not 15% above list like we did in the bidding war days. Think about it like this. We went from 10 people fighting over one house, like it's the last TV on Black Friday sale, to maybe 3 buyers sitting down having a real conversation about price. And wait until you see what this means for mortgage rate, which we'll cover in a couple of minutes, because that's where things get super interesting for those who are waiting. But here's where buyer needs to slow down. Think about, some think that they can throw out some super lowball offers and seller will take anything. That's not happening. We have 2.37 months of homes available. In a real buyer's market, that needs to be double. So yes, buyers have power now. They've got choices, they can take their time, but they can't demand everything under the sun. It's like you finally got a seat at the table after standing outside for 3 years. So while buyers are celebrating their new power, let's talk about why sellers are in a pretty good spot too. If you are a seller and all this buyer power talk is making you nervous, relax, because the real numbers are going to make you feel much better. Our average home price in Sacramento is still about $560,000 as of July, and yeah, that's down 1% from last month. But we're talking $6 grand on a $500,000 house. That's like worrying about a tiny scratch when your car runs perfectly. Let me tell you what smart sellers are doing right now. When you price your home right for today's market, not what your neighbor got last year when things were crazy, you're still gonna get good offers. The difference is you might help with closing costs, or maybe give a credit for that old AC that you've been meaning to replace. About 1 in 3 sales include some kind of help for the buyer. But think about it this way. Maybe you're giving up 10 grand to sell your house. That's still worth what it was 6 months ago. So that's being smart, not losing money. Coming up, I'll share the exact numbers on why waiting for rates could cost you big time. But first, let me tell you why Sacramento sellers are still sitting pretty compared to other places. Here's something amazing. Sacramento is still a total bargain compared to the Bay Area. Our average sales price is $560,000, while San Francisco is at $1.5 million. When Bay Area buyers come here, they feel like they've won the lottery. They can get a 4-bedroom house with a yard for less than a tiny condo cost where they're from. Sellers who are doing great right now have figured out the new rules. They price at the real market value instead of testing the waters with a high price. They make their home look amazing because buyers now have choices. So their fresh paint, nice staging matters. And yeah, they work with buyers on closing costs or repairs because that's how you get the deals done these days. Your home didn't lose 20% overnight. It just can't get those crazy over asking prices anymore. There's a huge difference. And once you get that, you're golden. Now, before we talk about what sellers need to do and know, trust me, the news is way better than you think. Hit that subscribe button and ring the bell if this is helping you. I share Sacramento market updates every week with real numbers from our local market, not those scary headlines that don't tell the entire story. According to local real estate expert Johnny Jennings, as reported by CBS Sacramento in July, everyone keeps telling him they're waiting to see what the Fed does. Rates coming down. Let me show you the math. On a $560,000 home at 6%, you're paying $33.60 a month. If rate drops to 5.5, that's $31.89. At 5%, it's $3,000. All right, if you're waiting for mortgage rates to drop before you buy, you need to hear this because waiting could be a huge mistake. We are at 5.6 to 6% for a 30-year loan right now in Sacramento, which is better than the 7% we saw earlier this year. But let me tell you what's really going on. So are you going to wait months or years to save a few $100s? Meanwhile, that you've already paid around $2,000 in rent that goes straight to your landlord instead of building your own wealth. But here's what nobody talks about. The minute rate drops a lot, every buyer who's been waiting jumps back in all at once. Remember that 1 in 3 sellers are getting a price cut? Gone. Those sellers' credit? Gone. Having a month to think about your offer, you'll be lucky if you get a day before someone grabs that house. We're in what experts call a shoulder market, which means we're in the sweet spot between being a crazy seller's market and a full buyer's market. This is when smart people make their move. You can negotiate, you've got homes to choose from, seller will work with you, but this window won't stay open forever. Think about it. Would you rather buy now when you've got some power or wait for rates to lower when you're back to fighting with 10 other offers? The math is clear. The chance is right here, and waiting for the Fed to save you is going to leave you still renting next year. So here's what we know. Sacramento market has shifted where buyers finally have some room to breathe without everything crashing. Seller can still get great prices with the right plan, and anyone waiting for rates to drop is missing this amazing window. The numbers don't lie. This is your chance, and this chance won't last forever. If you're ready to make your move in this market, whether you're buying your first home, moving up, or selling to cash in, reach out to me at Connie@cbreg.net. Let's talk about your situation and figure out how this market can work for you. I have hundreds of families through every kind of market. I'm excited to help you make your next move your best move.